Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm glad to see you coming for class. We need to stay sort of nourished and also connected so we can be engaged, involved. Not in denial, not turning away from world events and news, not turning away from our country's difficulties. So I really appreciate some of you are sending me resources. And I was given an article that I want to use part of for our class today. One of the reasons that I really appreciate getting information from others is that you may be able to research both more effectively and in places that I don't know to research. And also because my brain injury does limit my capacity for researching. I'm not wearing my concussion glasses right now because I'm going to back away from the computer and then sit with you without it being so strong. So if you do have information, if you do have a blog, a recommendation, an author, a speaker, a person, a short piece of news from YouTube, if you have longer things, you can send that too, but you are welcome to help me to know what you're looking at, what you're learning from, what resources you're relying on, what's been provocative or nourishing or helpful to you. And I will share those with our community. And one of those things that I got yesterday was an article called 75 Things That White People Can Do for Racial Justice. So I will share a couple of those as we start our practice this morning. We are going to start with sitting together for a few moments of quiet. And we will be using a chair in class today. You can see that. It's right there, the chair. So please take a comfortable seat as you're able to. And it's okay if you want to start by sitting in a chair or sitting on a meditation bench, whatever really helps you to be present. And you can rest your hands in your lap and let your eyes close. And reflecting on how you've been feeling, navigating, influenced by the news, the injustice, the violence, the devastation, what influence it has in you to remember the lives that have been lost to racial injustice and the misuse of police power. Also sense in your body what happens when you are aware of the riots going on, the surge of rage, the outrage, the demand, the urgency. And as you filter through that, also let yourself become aware that right now you're going to sit for your yoga practice, and it's not a time to push some things away and sort of sterilize or welcome other things in. It is a time to become more resourced, more clear-hearted, more clear-minded, more present, more flexibly able to have information come in, and for that to touch you in your humanity so that you can then participate, be a part of conversations. So as you filter through all of that and you let it be a part of your senses, your muscles, your bones, the skin of your body, the nervous system, circulatory system, all of it. And then allow your breathing to deepen, and the breath can kind of bring those things together. So all these tributaries of information, experience, feeling, sensation, they can come into the river of your practice. Everything is allowed. It's all welcome, as I said yesterday. You are a full spectrum person. And this particular time in our history is not an interruption to your journey. This is not an inconvenience. This is not a detour for you. This is what we are called to be here for right now. So may we resist the feeling of being interrupted or inconvenienced and recognize that there's an opportunity that's asking for our participation. Now let the breath just get a little bit longer and a little bit smoother. And join your hands together at your heart. And we'll chant Sahana Vavatu together. So begin with an inhale. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavaye Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vibhishavahe Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavaye Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vibhishavahe Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavaye Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vibhishavahe Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. You may bow your head to your heart and release your hands. So the focus that I brought to our 7 a.m. class and that I'm going to bring in here as well, there are 2 items on this list that I'm speaking about today, and I'll bring others in sequentially. This is called 75 Things That White People Can Do for Racial Justice. And one of those is to know what Indigenous land you're living on. And in the article, they offer a map where you can actually check and see, and then research the groups that occupied the land before you did, and find out what local activism is happening in those groups and make contributions there, give your money there, or give time to those efforts. So having a sense that the land that we are inhabiting has a history and has Indigenous history. This is one of the recommendations for us to feel that today in our bodies. And the other recommendation I'm giving today is to, it says here, number 61, be honest about our history. So one genocide, another genocide, apartheid, these major historical events that keep repeating themselves. And the author says this, it sucks, but it's true. We'll never be free from our history unless we're honest about it. Denial is our pathology, but the truth will set us free. So So in class a few times today, I'm going to ask you to reflect back on that, to let your body be a part of those reflections, not just that we acknowledge it at the beginning of class and then feel like we did our part, but that actually the body, the somatic experience of it is also what we're practicing. We're being with that. So I want to give you a little opening here for the spine before we start larger movements. So if you're sitting right now, whether you're in a chair on a physio ball or sitting cross-legged on the floor, I would like, if you're in a chair, that you point the knees out and take a kind of tripod stance. And that means that your thighs and knees and feet are pointing out to the side like my arms are doing right now. If you're sitting cross-legged, take your hands out over your knees. Okay, and when you inhale, lift your chest, your heart, open your throat, lift your gaze. And when you exhale, gaze down and come into like a cat pose spine. When you inhale, bring your heart forward and up, lift your collarbones, open your throat, lift your gaze. And then exhale and gaze down. Come inward, broaden on the backside of your body. And then once more, inhale to rise up. This time as you rise up, look up. Exhale, come to level. Now interlace your fingers. Inhale, rise up with your arms as a part of the process. And then please exhale and twist to your right. Take your gaze as far as it comfortably goes to your right. Now as you next inhale, clasp your hands, return to center, rise up. And exhale, twist to your left. You could imagine you're kind of gazing around at the history of the land on which you are practicing. And then as you exhale, come to center again. Now clasp the hands. We're going to go up on the inhale. Okay, exhale, twist right. Gaze down. Inhale, rise to center, gaze up. Exhale, twist left, gaze down. Inhale, rise to center, gaze up. Exhale, twist right, gaze down. Inhale to center, gaze up. Exhale, twist left, gaze down. Inhale to center. Rest your hands on your knees. Now, if you're sitting on the floor, you'll be using the floor. If you're sitting in a chair or on a physio ball, which is what I'm doing, you can have your hands out over your knees. Okay? Inhale, raise your left arm up. And exhale, side bend to your right. Let's gaze down. Inhale, open your left arm, but don't lift up, so you can feel the left side of the neck stretching here. Now exhale, raise your left arm and look up. Inhale, rise up. Exhale to release. Inhale, raise your right arm, nice and tall. When you exhale, side bend to your left. Gaze down. Inhale, open your right arm, and as you gaze down, breathe into the right side of your neck. Exhale, raise your right arm, gaze up. Inhale, rise up. Exhale to open. Okay, first side again. Inhale, raise your left arm. Keep your pelvis grounded. Exhale, side bend to your right. Gaze down. Inhale, open your left arm like a big half circle on the sky. Exhale, raise your left arm, turn your gaze up. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, release. Inhale, raise your right arm high. Exhale, side bend left. Gaze down, inhale, open your right arm. Exhale, raise your right arm, gaze up. And inhale, rise up. Exhale to release. Rest your hands out over your knees and notice what's changing for you in the heart, in your throat, in your neck, in your head. Even if the eyes are closed, what's changing in your vision? So these times are asking us to be in the heart of the heart connected, and also in the throat to use our voices, to use clear speech on behalf of truth, even if there's conflict, and to have a clear vision, to see people clearly, to see the situation, to be willing to see. Okay, so please rise up to standing, and I would like us to use a chair. I want to do some opening for the upper back, neck, and shoulders. And I'll ask Susie to take the camera back. Thank you. My phone camera. Let's take the chair, and I'm going to ask you to use the upper back of the chair. So I'm going to place mine this way. And the upper back of your chair might be taller than mine, and you might be either quite a bit taller or shorter than your chair. This happens, of course. So you're going to place your hands on the high plane of the chair as wide as they go to be shoulder width. And then when you step back here, try to make like an L shape of the torso. Do not hang the armpits lower than your hips or your hands. Now press the pinky finger side of your hands onto the outer edges of the chair. Rotate your inner arms up towards the ceiling. Include the inner part of your shoulder. Lengthen through the crown of your skull and keep the base of your skull gently lifted. So we're both opening the upper back and the spine, but also trying to stabilize the shoulders, the outer shoulder blades, stabilize the base of your skull. Breathing in once more. Then exhale, press down, roll your spine a little bit like cat pose so that you can step forward, rise up to standing. And you can turn to mountain pose. You can face the chair if you want. I'm facing so you can see me. Reach back and interlace your fingers. Roll the shoulders open. Thank you, Susie. I can see that now. That's funny. Sorry. I forget that I have to do that part. Okay, roll the shoulders open. And when you squeeze the shoulders back here, for the time being, I'm going to ask you not to push the hips forward, but to squeeze the shoulders back, bring your chin down towards your throat. So the profile looks like this. We're trying to get the shoulders to move, not aiding the shoulders by the chin. So in a way, not compensating there. Root your tailbone down. So you're also not having the hips don't go backwards to help the shoulders to go back. Draw your floating ribs in. And then with your heart lifted, begin the process of also lifting your collarbones, open your throat, raise your chin thoughtfully, and as you start gazing up, invite the tailbone to come forward but not past your toes. And then exhale, start lifting your heart, lift your head, bring yourself back into mountain pose. Let the arms dangle so there's a feeling of like the warmth that goes down the arms, the circulation. Very good. I can see you in my mirror over here, from my monitor to my mirror. Good. Okay, now let's take the chair and we're going to step backwards with the left foot. So this is called parsvottanasana. When you step the left foot back like this, turn the heel sideways on the floor. I'm going to scoot my chair forward because I want to stay within the view of the camera with my back foot. And then we're going to place the hands like this out over the chair. And I'll scoot mine a tiny bit more forward. Okay, so when you have the hands and arms outstretched now and the right leg forward, press down against the chair, stabilize the outer shoulder blades, lift your inner armpits. And as you roll the hips back, so each hip is reaching back, right? There's a tendency for one hip to go farther back than the other. So you can check for yourself, do you feel like you have equal weight in both feet? As you roll the hips back, broaden the back hemisphere of your body. And breathe in, smooth and steady. Now, keeping your left hip where it is, pick up your left hand and cross it over towards your right hand. So you've just added a little side bend to the pose. Draw the left hip back. Imagine the left side of the torso becoming longer than the right for a few moments. Breathe in like you can swish the breath into the left hemisphere of your body. Good, and then as you are ready, slide your left hand back to the upper back of the chair on the left side. Start to bend your right knee, please. And keep the left heel grounded. So as you bend the right knee, shift your hands back to your hips. Press down into your right heel, left heel. Bring your torso upright. This is the foundation of the pose called virabhadrasana 1. Your arms are just overhead there, so we know they can do it. Inhale, float out to the side. And then inhale, rise up. Now, if you have this sort of sequentially, you press into your left heel, energize your left leg, root your tailbone, lift your heart, lift your collarbones, then open your throat, begin looking up. Now, when you exhale, I'm going to ask you to try this. Sweep the arms out until they're about horizontal, and then step your left foot up to meet your right foot. One big step if you can, and then release both arms. And in all the aliveness that that might create, let yourself sense again the land on which you are practicing right now. The land which you have the privilege to inhabit, the honor, the responsibility of recognizing what has come before. When you sense that in your body, let whatever arises be valid for you. There's no predetermined way that that needs to influence you right now. And bend both knees, take your hand to the upper back of the chair and step backwards with your left foot. This is called parsvottanasana in Sanskrit. Press back with your right heel. Try to level your hips so you sense that both hips are equally responsible. Both legs have a kind of a shared duty here. And now keeping your right hip drawn back especially, pick up your right hand and place it over your left hand. It's a small change, relatively speaking, but not a small change for certain parts of your body. So swoosh the breath into the right hemisphere of your body. Keep the right hip drawn back, right heel rooted down. You might be feeling your right calf muscle or the right lower back or outer waist, outer shoulder blade. Maybe you feel the left hamstring also. More importantly, notice how you bring the breath into a pose that might feel like a little bit less stable than your ordinary parsvottanasana. How you keep your stability here. And you're going to glide the right hand back across the chair so that the hands are shoulder width apart. Begin to bend your left knee. And as you do that, press into your right heel so it's really stabilized. Walk your hands back towards your hips. Aim to bring your left knee more or less over your left heel. Center your pelvis to face forward. And as you're gazing forward and the back leg is ready, lift the pubic bone, hover the arms out to the side, turn your palms up, and let's inhale to go up. So you're opening the fabric of your body right now, and today I'm recommending that that openness isn't dedicated to just your personal wellness, but dedicated to our ability, each of us, to listen, to respond, to listen, to sense, to participate, to allow ourselves to be informed, educated, even allow ourselves to be challenged by what comes. Now with an exhale, bring your gaze forward, float your arms out to the side, steady yourself in your front leg, and then step one big step if you can, forward. Mountain pose. And again, pause to sense the land on which you are standing right now. And you can imagine that stretching out beyond the circumference of your footprints, of course, out and out, the land in which your village is living. What is its history? And then I'm going to ask you to take a wide stance on your mat with your right foot turned towards your chair like this. And you're not really going to know the distance that you want to be from the chair until you set this up. So I'm actually going to back up a little bit to my left. I'm calling this my left today. And when you come out, the distance you're going to measure is where the right hand is sort of comfortably placed based on your legs, hamstrings, inner thighs, and such. Okay, so once you know that, then please come up. Join your hands to your heart. Lift your pubic bone up and root your tailbone down. And press into both feet equally. Try to sense the inner edges, the outer edges, the root system of the body, and beyond that into the ground that is supporting you all around. And please bend your right knee. It would be like warrior two. Aim the right inner thigh towards your knee so the right outer hip is toned. Inhale your arms wide. Please gaze to your right. And in warrior two, you're welcome to close your eyes. I know that your practice can do that, so close your eyes. Keep your balance from within. And try to sense yourself really standing in this wide circumference of the shared human condition, both what is happening right now and imagine the many layers of history that are influencing the now. And let your body be porous, sensing, feeling, breathing. And as you inhale, begin to do this simultaneously. Glide your hips back, straighten your right leg, place your right hand on the upper back of the chair. And then sweep your left arm overhead. And as you come over, it's possible that for some of you, without even any kind of forward bend, you're going to have the length of the side waist to hold the other hand. And others will not be able to reach that, and that is okay. You could do it with a bent elbow if you need to. You can have the arm up if you prefer. But for all of us, press from your left outer hip, please, into your left outer heel. And then let the left side waist breathe. So you're kind of swooshing the breath into the left hemisphere of your body. Strengthen your right leg, right heel, right toes. And with the tailbone anchored, on your next exhale, lift your left arm up towards the ceiling. Bring some tone into the right arm. There you are. Now inhale, rise up, warrior two. Good. Good. And then straighten your right leg, pick up your toes, turn them in. We're going to do the other side. So I'm going to move my chair all the way so I can keep seeing you. I can't see you if I face the wall behind me. You can keep your chair where it is, whatever works for you. You are going to check that when you turn your left foot towards the chair, this sort of outstretched position, you have your left hand comfortably enough supported. And then bring that upright, please. And join your hands together. Root down through your tailbone. Try to sense that rooting down does require an openness at the front of your right hip and groin. And then as you exhale, bend your left knee. So this is your warrior two leg position, right? Sweep the arms wide, gaze to your left. And as you're gazing left, notice the way you turn your head. The right shoulder can keep reaching back, right? So this stays open across the chest. Please keep the throat open. And imagine yourself standing in this wide circumference. It's 360 surrounding you. That life is happening right now. You are a part of this. And it is infiltrated, infused by, informed by history. Much difficult and devastating history. When you allow your body to sense that, let it be whatever way that you're able to right now. Stay with it. If it's a new exploration for you, you might have a less robust or more robust response. So give yourself the grace of your earnestness, your effort, your willingness. As you next inhale, begin to do two things at once. You're going to pull the right hip back and reach your left hand out. And as the left hand finds the upper back of the chair, you can straighten the left leg. Then sweep your right arm up overhead. And for those for whom the flexibility might be there, you could rest your right hand over your left hand. For others, that's not going to be possible, so you can have the arm raised. You can bend the elbow. You can put your hand behind your head if you like. Of course, there's other options too. This is your practice. And swoosh the breath into the right hemisphere of your body. And please firm the right outer hip right behind your trochanter. Root down into your tailbone, into your right heel. Now one more breath, and I'm going to ask you to press down with your left foot, right foot. Start raising your right arm and activating your left arm. There you go, good. And then rise up to warrior two. Beautiful. And then rise up, palms together. Turn your left foot in, right foot in, and step into mountain pose. Mountain pose. So mountain means like the long life of a mountain, the upright steadiness of a mountain. And let your sense of the land on which you're standing come back into your awareness. Here you are. You are not its first inhabitant. You can kind of even sense maybe the people who dwelled in the home you're in before you and before them and before them and before there was a building or a structure or a development where you live. Now I'm going to ask you to take this chair to sit in for a moment because we're going to stretch the hip flexors in a certain way. So if I place this chair, I think you're going to be able to see best if I do it like this. And my recommendation is that you modify this position to suit the length of your thighs, the flexibility of your hip flexors. So I'm going to use a block and a blanket so I can show a couple of ideas. So what I'm going to do here is sit in the chair and turn to my right. This is my right today. Notice that when I sit in the chair, my right foot easily touches the floor. This is the height that I'm using for the chair. And then when I step back with the left, I want to be able to touch my left knee comfortably down to the block, like this. Okay, so that means for me, I got lucky that the height of the chair, the height of my shin, this is working out. If I'm a taller person, I probably have to put a blanket or 2 or 3 on the chair seat so that this is stable for you. And then the right thigh goes down beneath into your right knee like this. So hopefully your right knee is not forward of your hips like this right now. But if it is because your quads are that tight, you have to live with it or raise your hips up again on the chair seat. If possible, you've got the right thigh vertical to start like this. Here. Okay. And then root down through the tailbone. This is your left thigh, excuse me. That's so funny. I've been mirroring yoga students for 30 years, and now I'm trying to mirror a computer screen with a lot of yoga students. Okay, so what you're doing here, the left thigh vertical, take the tailbone down, and then you can glide your hips forward. So I'm actually gliding on my chair. You glide just as far forward as your left hip flexors are saying, wow, thank you. And with the tailbone rooted down, resist the urge to compress the lower back. So we're not going forward in such a way as this gets compressed. Now raise your left arm forward, left arm up. So long as you're balanced on the chair, also raise your right arm up. Go ahead and hook your thumbs. And as you reach up, keep the lower hemisphere of the pose stable and begin to arc up through your heart. Open your throat. Lift your gaze. We are not just leaning back here. It is that the heart is going up. Every vertebrae participates in this back bend. So you are not just hinging at the thoracolumbar juncture there. Think of your back bend as being up in your heart. And then exhale, use the lower belly to come upright, kind of like a vertical position. Bring your hands down to your heart. Using the chair in whatever way you need to, you're going to rotate back to center. And let's take a tripod seat for a moment. Right, so that's kind of a big opening for the hip flexors for some of you. And please turn to your left. And I'll call this my left now. And place your right knee down. So you're going to start with the right thigh vertical right here. And keeping the tailbone grounded, I'd like you to glide forward. And as you're rooting the tailbone down, just check the quality of opening you can have at the front of your right hip, your right thigh. You raise your right arm forward, bring it up. Raise your left arm up. You can hook your thumbs. And as you go up, do keep yourself stable here and look for any suppleness or limberness of the heart where you can endeavor towards a little back bend, like a crescent moon back bend. Yeah, keep the lower hemisphere of the pose stable. Good, you're doing so beautifully, thank you. And then exhale, use the low belly to come upright. Release your arms out to the side, and then hands to the heart. Using the chair as a support, rotate yourself to come back to center. Like a tripod seat, kind of like where we started sitting cross-legged at the beginning of class. Between the two knees and pelvis is a triangle. Place your hands, the upper body and the thighs become like a pyramid. Invite your body to remember that our species includes the capacity for genocide and warfare, capacity for apartheid, so many things, so many. I'm going to ask you to bring the feet in so they're about hip distance apart and cross your right ankle over your left knee. Like this. Lift up through the heart. Good. And then exhale to come forward. So you're going to be stretching into your right hip, and you may take the hands out over. And you may gaze down also. Invite your body to feel, to sense, to be with. So in this feeling and sensing and being with, I'm going to give you a variation on this pose now. So we are forward in what we would call figure 4 pose. So cross your right hand to your right heel like this. Reach the left hand around to the chair behind you, the side of the chair or the upper back, and please twist to your left. And in this twist, imagine that the collarbones and the left shoulder, they're rolling open. Bringing the shoulder blades onto the back of the heart. And as you turn to gaze to your left, you may also continue bringing your gaze up towards the ceiling or towards a place behind you. Try to sense your twist, including the entirety of the spine before it gets to the eyes. So it's not only your eyes trying to make the twist. And then exhale, rotate back around to face forward, rise up to sitting. And place your right foot down. Cross your left ankle over. There you are, good. And while you're sitting upright, check that your right shin stays vertical, so you don't bring it in like this. That's usually a sign that this hip is tighter, and so it's trying to have this knee go lower. If that is the case, rather than moving the shin, raise your seat up on another blanket or so, like put the hips up higher. Yeah, okay, lift up through your heart, and then come gently forward. When you're coming forward, don't have it be just the chin that comes forward, but you come forward from the pelvis over your left hip. And to add a little twist to this, you can cross your left forearm over and hold your left heel. Reach back with your right hand. Rotate to your right. And as you're rotating, widen the collarbones on the front side. Try to imagine that as an openness on the front, supported from the shoulder blades on the back side. You can rotate your head as far as it comfortably goes into the twist, but supported by the spine from the base up to the top. And then breathing in. And let's exhale to unwind, come to facing forward, rise up to sitting, and take your left foot down to the floor. And let's do feet, shins, knees, and thighs, hip distance like this. Rest your palms in your lap. And listen again that we're making the body more porous, we're making it more supple, you're encouraging vitality to flow through you. Resolve the residue of stress and angst. Now, see if you can welcome in the news, the difficulties, and not just the news generic, but try to sense these are people involved. So invite your body to be porous, to be willing to be moved by, influenced by. At the same time, we want to be able to sense that there is a kind of inner place that's witnessing, observing, that's trying to stay clear. Like some of the world leaders that we've had, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, how do they stay consistently engaged? How did they stay engaged? Thich Nhat Hanh, how did he stay engaged? They had a place of deep solace and sovereignty and wisdom. Okay, so we're going to come down to the floor with 2 blocks. I want to do a little work with your sacrum and trochanters, and we've been doing this in the last couple weeks or so. So some of it's going to be new if you're new to class today, but some of it will be review if you've been here. So what you can do is put the chair aside, and you'll need 2 yoga blocks. these two blocks, you're going to be placing them in a specific way for this massage. So when I come down, first thing is I'm going to remove this hair clip because those are painful on your head on the floor. So this edge of the block, this inner edge right here, is going to be for the sacrum. So I lift the hips and put both blocks under like a triangle. They point towards the tailbone. And that triangle shape goes this way. Okay. And then it should be stable enough that when you pick up your thighs and knees, you can come to vertical with the thighs and you feel the sacrum is kind of levitating between these two edges of the blocks. Once you know that, I'm going to ask you to touch your left foot down and to do the right side first. So let's imagine the right knee, a little bit like as if it was a crayon drawing a circle on the ceiling. And there may be some tender places for you in that movement. And you can go clockwise and also counterclockwise. Go in both directions. And then bring your right knee in towards your chest and slowly take it out. You're going to straighten the right leg, reach long like this. And then using your right low belly, draw it in towards your chest. Good. And take it out so it's long. Use the right low belly, draw this in. You're actually using your psoas muscle as well, so bring it in and take it long. And then roll this in, right knee to your chest, and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Open right there. So you can press the right knee open just using the hip muscles. You don't have to push on it with your hand. I suppose if you like, you could do that gently. Be thoughtful. Try to keep both hips level at the moment. We want these blocks to be stable. I hope that you checked that it's very stable. And then you pick up and you come up to the figure 4 pose right there. And some of you are going to be able to bring your knees in the figure 4 pose towards the chest. Some of you will not be able to do that. That is okay. And keeping the blocks stable, roll down from your figure 4. First you end up coming to this vertical place, and then slowly lower until your left toes reach to the floor again, and then your left heel. Good, and now place the right foot down. Bring your left knee up to your chest and make a circle, as if the left knee were drawing a circle on the ceiling. And in this process, you can decide which direction the circle is going to go. Clockwise, counterclockwise, you can try them both. Yeah. And then you're going to bring your left knee, let's bring it up to the chest so it's in close. And then lengthen out through your left heel. Your thigh can kind of hover at the height of your hip. There's the left psoas at the bottom. The other hip flexors are there too. And then draw in. Make a massage along the side of the sacrum. And then take it out. And then draw in. Good. One more time, lengthen it out. Good, and then bring this one up. And you're going to cross your left ankle over your right knee. And press the left knee open, again, not using your hand. I suppose you can if you want to, but my intention is that you're using the left hip muscles to do that. Try to sense how the breath is moving right now, how it's moving you. And then float your right knee up. Good, and you can bring that in. We don't want the blocks to slide away, so of course they need to be stable enough for you to do this. You do it a couple of times and just check and see, wow, there's maybe a tender spot here or there, or a little something to learn about your sacrum or your pelvis. And you can float this back down, go slowly. So you're toning the transverse and obliques right now in the abdomen, and bring the right toes, right heel down, press the left knee open. And then place the left foot back on the floor. Now we're going to lift the hips and put the blocks on the flat setting, lay them down like this. And when you come down, I'd like you not to put it behind the sacrum, but right behind your thigh bones. So if you pick up the thighs, you can sense, if you go like this, you're like, okay, there's the bony landmark. Just outside the block is the right trochanter in my case, and on this side, the left trochanter. So hover the knees up so you can feel the pressure of the block on the back side of the thigh bone. And I know that pressure might be tender for some of you. Fan the right knee open and in. And open and in. And open. So these are some of the important muscles. They're called the deep six, right behind the trochanter there, and over to your sacrum and in to the sitting bone region. And they are innervated as a messaging system with the pelvic floor and with your psoas. And so that whole system right now is responding, as it always does, it's responding to stress and fear, anxiety and tension. Well, let's see if you can make a circle with your right knee in both directions, clockwise, counterclockwise, and then possibly take it out to straight, keeping the pelvis stable, and float it back in, and cross your right ankle to your left knee. And that might be really strong, I get it. I really get it. Those of you who know I've had major hip surgery, the incision is right there. So I do really get it. Let's touch the left foot down, right foot down. If your blocks need a readjustment, go ahead and do that. And then pick up both knees once again. We're going to do the other side. So the right knee can be steady and the left knee can make the circles on the ceiling. And let this come through with intuition. So you can decide clockwise, you can decide counterclockwise. Listen in to your hip joint. Don't avoid the difficult places, the tender places. Just like we're asking in the news cycle and in the psyche, don't avoid that which is difficult. In the physical body, when you touch one of those sensitive places, you don't have to pummel it, but I don't want you to back away from it or be resistant to it. See if we can take the left leg out straight. And then float your left knee back up. Cross your left knee onto your right ankle. Yep, and there's the outer part of the hips. You can rock that a little bit. Knees in, knees out. And then touch your right foot down, left foot down. Now, pick up the hips, make the blocks, take them out, put them on the medium setting so they're tall again like this. Lower your hips down, put the soles of the feet together, and take the knees out to the side, like that. And then you can rest your hands where they're most comfortable for you. And put your mind at the back of the sacrum and the back of the thigh bones and try to sense that the tension that was there that's dissolving, that can be like the tension of the mind, that when it dissolves, we become capable of seeing a new view. We become more porous mentally. Our blinders, our conditioning can fade and we become more able to see ourselves clearly and to see others more beautifully. So allow your body now to deeply relax, that particularly the musculoskeletal region right behind the outer thigh and up to the sacrum, but let that be a message to the entire body, right? Everything about you. Let the pelvis at the sacrum get a little heavier now, even more deeply relaxed, and allow that to take with it the activities of the mind that would be distracting you right now. And sometimes as the body becomes more restful, as the mind becomes more at ease, you may have a fragment of a thought, a fragment of an image. Just allow it to be what it is for now. No narrating, judging, coercing, analyzing. Allowing the sacrum now to get a little bit heavier and the mind a bit more relaxed. That is the habit mind, the thinking mind. Come into the part of your mind that does the task of awareness. And without stirring thought or analysis, let your body include awareness of the history into which you were born, this intergenerational dilemma in the species, so many of the dilemmas. Invite your body to be able to sense this today, to feel it, not to reject it, not to disown or to deny it. And then using the tone of the low belly, please roll your knees up to center. And then roll down to your right side, roll over to your right. When you're ready, please use both hands to come back up to sitting. And when you come up for meditation, let your mind be really open, porous, undistracted by your normal mental habit. And try to sense the world to which you are interconnected, interdependent. And please bring your hands together at your heart. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Bandanat Mrityormokshi Yamamrita Om Shanti Om Om Shanti Om Shanti Om. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. A very important time, what happens from your yoga practice and in the sort of in-between period from yoga to the actions of daily life. This is called your sadhana, and those actions are called your dinacharya, how you now participate in the cycle of the day. And just reflect on how that might be, that you don't have to lose the inner experience of your sadhana or these considerations as you go into the dinacharya. And I'm going to come up to visit for a few moments with you. Thank you, Susie. You can move to my other camera when you're able to. I appreciate the support that is for me. Even though I could come back and figure it out, I do appreciate the support.